So while I wait for a key, I'm actually going to make a video about the problem with Mythic Plus right now, because this is bad and it's very frustrating because I can't play the game as I want to. So I'm super frustrated because basically going up to 11s, there was a bit of a challenge going through 8s, 10s, now 12s, but 12s is by far the biggest issue. Um, to be honest with you, the problem I have, or a lot of people are having, is one, the gatekeeping is really bad. It seems to be really, really bad at this level, for instance, and to a point where it is impossible to get into keys somewhat. I have been fortunate enough as a healer to get into keys. However, what you're finding is that the range of people that you're going into is between 2.7 and 2.9. And on top of that, they have very little experience on 12s. And I'll tell you why this is a problem and why it needs to be rectified from Blizzard. Now, 10s give you rewards, which is great. So if you do 10s, you get the maximum rewards, you fill your vault, great. So everyone's going to be doing 10s. People that have 2.5, 2.7, 3.2, if you need to do 10s, get your vault filled, you're going to do it, right? That's great. But the problem now is 12s, there's no value. So who's doing 12s? People that want to increase their score, right? Also, people that are trying to boost a key. Now that's a problem. Why is it a problem? So any key that you see that's hosted by a 3K 3K person, there is no chance anyone that has limited experience in 12s, for instance, having not done, let's say, an Arakar 12, and you want to do an Arakar 12. If you don't have a 12 done or you're not high enough, that 3K is never going to invite you, right? So that's your first problem, is that 3Ks don't see any reason as to why you should be inviting people lower than what they are. So already that 2.7, 2.9, where I am and a lot of people are, you're basically screwed. The second problem is the people that are wanting to push score, they only want pumpers. They want 2.93k, and they also want meta, it seems. So the problem you're having now is that basically you'll go into, let's say you're 2.8, I'm 2.8 something, done 312s, right? I'll say I want to do a stone vault, right? I go into a key. The chances are I'm not going to be picked because I don't have the experience, because there's gatekeeping. They want something, they want a higher level, right? Which they can possibly get because I've only done 3. But 2, I'm not meta, I'm a holy paladin. So the big issue now is that basically I'm always going to be replaced, always be picked over a resto shaman or a disciplined priest. Now that's always been somewhat of an issue, to be honest with you. However, it is bad at the moment. Like, to get into keys even as a healer is a grind. I cannot even imagine what it is for DPS at the moment, because it is so hard to get into keys between those 2.7, 2.9, because it's created this bubble where people are trying to push, but the people that don't care for score and just want 10s, they're not doing it because there's no incentive. And the 3Kers, or the people that are really high, well, they're not going to invite you because, one, 12s are inherently harder than 11s, and going higher than that is inherently harder. There's a massive skill gap in that, which I'm struggling with, right? So 3K is not going to help you, and you're left with 2.7 to 2.9s. But even inside that is gatekeeping. So you've got this massive, massive issue with these keys. Now, I believe a friend told me, don't take my word for it, Blizzard is addressing it in Season 2, which I was quite disappointed by, because I think it should be addressed now. I really do. Now, what they do, I don't know. I honestly don't know what Blizzard can do in order to fix the issue. To be honest with you, I don't see how they can. In all honesty, it could be a multitude of things they could do. I mean, they could incentivize doing 12s, maybe, making maybe the progression of skill a lot more gradual, because it's literally, you do an 11, right? And let's say 11 is here. Like, just see this as a graph, right? 11's here, right? 12 is over there. It's far away. It is so different, so difficult compared. Now, to the people that are doing 13, 14, 15, 16s, right? 12s are nothing, right? They've got the experience, they've got the stuff, they can do it, they can pug it. But unfortunately for the middlemen, I would say, like me, this is not fun. It is not fun. Like, Mythic Plus is one of the best things that they ever introduced in the game, in my opinion. But I've never experienced this type of grueling grueling grind before. And I really do think Blizzard has to do something about it, like sooner than later. It's just frustrating to play, and it's just not fun. You know, I'm going into keys. I'm making mistakes, but lots of the keys are going to be not doing well. Probably because there's not a lot of experience in them. A lot of the players are trying to push, so there's a lot of experience. But even the difficulty is really hard. I mean, even as a healer doing like a City of Threads, that key is tough for a 12 with inexperience and stuff. So, Blizzard, I urge you to do something sooner than later. Even for this season, it would be great. Like, it's really like they created something where they got the higher guys to obviously not worry about affixes and stuff, which I think was a good move because there were a lot of people were asking for that, and it wouldn't necessarily affect, let's say, the lower rated players, if that makes sense. But you've created a problem by the people that actually want to push for, in a casual manner. Well, it's just a nightmare because you're always going up against now meta specs because the gatekeeping is so high now because the difficulty of the key is higher. So the gatekeeping is fundamentally through the roof. You know, no one wants to do a 12 that is higher rated because they just want to push that key higher, so they're not going to invite you, which is something that used to happen a lot before. I used to get into keys in Shadowlands, Dragonflight, where you'd have that big guy was in it, right? And he would just be doing it because they had the belief they could push that key higher with lower rated players. But now it's not like that at all. So this is my rant, if that can make sense. I really wanted to make a quick video about it because I think that it is something that really is frustrating. I know I'm not the only one. I think a lot of people in the community are feeling it. And it sucks. Like, you know, I don't want to get instant satisfaction. I'll still grind for keys as I'm doing now, but you know, to wait 40, 50 minutes, 30 minutes for a key somewhat, then fail and then have to do it all over again is just horrible, you know. And there's a multitude of issues that I've addressed that needs to be looked at. Now, you could call me noob, you could call me a lot of things, and that's fair. I just think that when you have people that are trying to play the game, you know, and they're blocked by these inherent issues, I think they need to be fixed. Now, fixing it isn't like not close to impossible, but extremely hard, and I think it's the difficulty that's creating this issue. But it really does need to be looked at. But that's that's one of my videos. I hope you enjoyed my rant. A lot of videos will be like this with commentary. But yeah, wish me luck on my grind. You know, let's see how it goes. I would love to know if anyone else has some similar experiences or any tips that they can, you know, give to me and anyone who else watches the video saying this is how you do it. You know, I think there may be secret tech. I know secret tech when it was fortified and tyrannical. If you grind it enough and put your tyrannical score up high enough, like let's say you did all the 10s on tyrannical, and then the next week you wanted to do all the 10s on fortified, because your tyrannical score was higher and because you had done 10s at that level, a lot of people would invite you into the fortified because you already had that experience, because they saw, oh, he's done a 10 before, we'll invite him. That doesn't exist anymore because obviously it's all together now, and that's obviously, I think, maybe one of the reasons why. That's what I used to do. So it would be one really bad, like really tough week to grind, but then the next week would be relatively easier. But I would love to hear from DPS players as well that are playing, because I honestly can't imagine it being like, if you're playing your favorite spec, let's say it's Feral Druid or another somewhat unpopular spec, I mean, are you getting into keys? I can't imagine you are. I mean, I'm forever getting, you know, like I said, Disc and Resto are the go-to picks, and that's what people are picking. You know, is that a balancing problem? Should Blizzard be looking at that maybe a little bit more often? We haven't had balances in a while either. You know, it doesn't seem like they're fixing anything. You know, balancing may not fix this inherent issue completely. It's not the issue that we are being provided with, that we're being looked at here. But, you know, balancing, making the specs closer, for instance, if they can do that. I know it's a very hard thing to do, but it really does see, from a balancing perspective as a healer, Resto and Disc Priest are far into the echelons of the S tiers, where a lot of the other healers are just flailing about in the background, and it's pretty bad, to be honest. I mean, I am actually contemplating playing a Disc Priest or a Resto Shaman because then I get to play the game and see how it is there. But I still think there will be some issues with doing that. I don't think a meta spec is going to fix the issue. It'll help. It'll help. There's no doubt in my mind. But the score, and it's a community created problem. That's the issue as well. The game has been figured out. The game has, cookie cutter specs, tier lists, and everything. So people read that, consume that, and go, this is what I want. And the frustrating thing is, and I know I said it again in my video, but I'm sorry. The frustrating thing is that I think all the classes can do 12s, and 13s, maybe even 14s. All the classes can do it. You may have to work harder for it and may have to have more skills, so to speak. But the game is accessible for all these classes to do that, right? If you have the capabilities of doing it. Yet we go on these websites, we look at what's working, and what happens? They see, oh, this priest is really good. Resto Shaman, I must invite them. Prot Warrior is amazing. Gotta invite them. Frost DK. And then let's say, I don't know, a BM Hunter trods along going, I've been playing this class, I love it used to be great. And they're looking going, oh, but BM is bad now. Why would you ever invite a BM Hunter? And then they don't get invited. And it's it's a riddle or a problem that Blizzard I don't think will necessarily ever fix, because it's created not by them but by the community. So we'll see what happens. I hope they address it. They said they would in season 2. I wish it was season 1. How they address it, I don't know. But it looks like I have a key in place. It took a while. Thank you for listening. I look forward to your feedback and anything that you can shed light on. It'd be very interesting to hear from all of you. Have a good one, guys. Response Limited out. Cheers.